All right, Nichole, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Recon and why
Yeah.
we started it. Because I think people want to know, like, there's a lot of marketing companies out there, and why make another one and what makes us different. So,
Yeah.
just a little bit about my background. I started in advertising management at BYU, and that's what I got my degree in, communications. I always loved it, but I had a real passion for graphic design, so I did that for a long time. And as I was in the community more and more, I noticed the marketing efforts locally were really lacking, especially in the brand and strategy area. Not just logos, but people were really lacking depth in their marketing as far as the visuals went, but also their performance. And one of our clients, Travis, is our connection between us, Travis Snoder. He noticed that as well for a lot of his companies. And so he and I got our heads together and we decided that we can do better and we should do better because our community deserves that, but also that's kind of our skill sets. But I told him that my side was more of the creative right brain side, and I didn't have the skill set to marry that to really ROI and results and things like that. I could put it in front of people, but I didn't know how to get it there. And so he told me about you and kind of what your skill sets were. And will you tell me a little bit again about your background?
Yeah. As far as my background, I've worked in the agency world for a while, and my background is digital marketing. So, SEO, pay per click, Facebook ads, all that jazz. And I noticed a similar gap is a lot of agencies, it's either pretty, which is great, pretty is nice, but it's not being placed well,
Mm-hmm.
or you have this haggled brand. It should be a sin, like ugly
Oh,
piece
tell me.
of
I know.
content
I hate it.
in front of people, and that's not necessarily getting people's attention either,
Right.
or it's totally misrepresenting the brand as far as like this is a very professional brand, but then their ad looks like something that your fifth grader did.
So the
Um,
messaging wasn't matching the business. Yeah.
exactly. And so, and then on top of that, one of the things that working in the agency world that I didn't always love is that we a lot of times have it's marketing agencies market for themselves. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, here's all your stuff. By the way, we're bringing you phone calls. Look, you're getting traffic. You're getting traffic, or you're getting impressions." And yes, those can be key performance indicators, but then I have a client sitting there going, "Well, sure, but
What's
I'm
my
not getting
ROI?
sales. Yeah,
Right.
what's my ROI?"
Yeah.
And they're spending thousands of dollars every month and wondering, "Okay, how is this helping my marketing?"
Right. What is this return for me? Like, impressions doesn't mean anything. And that's one thing that I
Yeah.
noticed as well is a lot of these businesses were complaining about their marketing not giving them results, where the marketing company is saying, look at all of these results, but they're really not connecting their dots. And so the clients don't really know what they're doing. So there's a lack of communication, but also kind of this fluff where these agencies weren't actually delivering on what the client needed. And
Exactly.
so I think that's kind of what you were noticing as well, right?
Yeah. And one of the things that I think um marketing agencies sometimes avoid is or that they don't communicate with a client is, "Hey, what are the quality of your leads?" They're like, "Oh, you got 10 phone calls this month. Fantastic." Or 100
Right.
phone calls or whatever. And they leave it at that. And that communication, the client's going, "Yeah, but 3 of them were people that I've talked to before,
Right.
and one of them was my sister-in-law," and, like, and
Right.
so and they're not tracking that, they're
Right.
not
The
paying
lack of tracking.
attention, and so one of the things that I love that we bring together is we do a lot of the right, you make it look really good, and then we place it really well, and then we track it through the process, so we know,
For
okay,
sure.
if this person saw this ad here, did they make it to the end of the funnel? Did they
Right.
call you? Did they fill out a form? Did they buy a product? And how do we remarket to them? Because
Yeah.
that's another thing
Well, to your
is no
point,
remarketing.
yeah, exactly. And to your point, I think that's one of the things that we noticed too is that one thing that differentiates us at Recon is that, and this is something that you bring to the table that you do really, really well, is we look at the entire process, right? We look at the sales funnel, we look at the sales process, all of
Mhm.
the SOPs within the company itself. We dig in a lot deeper than a traditional marketing company does because we want to support that in a much more significant way so that we can show that ROI properly. We
Yeah.
can't really market properly if we don't know the business very well. And that's something that we do with Recon Day, for
Yeah.
example. So remind me what that entails for the Recon Day.
Yeah. So one of the things that we find is um, that businesses their internal operations or just like what they do and who they are isn't really well known by their marketing company. Their marketing company might know, oh yeah, you sell hats or candy or you're a dentist, but what makes you special and that brand story gets totally lost. And so on Recon Day we like to come into your business and talk to you, the team, and see how things run and how things operate. One of our clients right now, I am the account manager and I have a really good relationship with all of their team.
Hmm.
And so also it kills a lot of bottlenecks because instead of just going through their CMO,
Hmm.
I can go directly to their customer service manager. I also know, hey, if this team is running this promo, this customer service manager needs to know about it.
Hmm.
And so I help fill that communication gap so that my favorite thing is when you get a call from somebody within the business and they're like, "Who promised $25 off or $2,500 blah blah blah," and you're like, "Oh, that came from." They're like the marketing company made it up, or
Right.
something, or they're not ready to fulfill on that.
Yeah.
And in this case, we're able to really be an assistant to the CMO or act as a CMO and
Right.
help with that.
Well, and that's also to that point, that's one last thing that kind of differentiates us is we're business owners and we're built by business owners. So we know what it's like to be in a boardroom. We know what it's like to answer for different decisions that we make. And then also what drives us, again, that ROI and results driven. A lot of marketing companies see their efforts in the scope of marketing only. And so that's why they get bottlenecked into things like impressions and clicks and things like that, because by their metrics, they are being successful. But if you were to take that into a boardroom, they wouldn't care, right? They would only care about bringing in business. And so we come in with that perspective because we've been there as business owners, we've been there as investors and things like that. And so that's one of our differentiators is not only do we want to get to know your business better so that we can market it better, but we also approach it as though we are part of your business like a fractional CMO because we care about your results, not about our results. It's not about us. It's about what we do for you to set you up properly. And so I think those are some of our main differentiators there.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely want to tell people we're also really honest in our communication
Hmm.
as far as like, hey, we need this campaign. Like everybody needs a brand awareness campaign at some point. Getting ROI off a brand awareness campaign, very, very unlikely. Like you can track people, but it's still a tool. It's
Yeah,
kind of like a billboard, right? It's hard to track ROI on a billboard, but we know that that's a key piece to the marketing, and we're still going to work in the cost of that into the ROI overall. We want to make sure that we uh, are just clear on their communication that
absolutely.
people understand. And yeah, nobody wants a full marketing lesson in a meeting. Like that's
No.
not our role, but we definitely want to make sure that it's clear, hey, this is the tool that we're using and this is how this works so that
Yeah.
there's no confusion of, okay, I paid you this month.
Right. Well, and
Cool.
that was another thing is that lack in communication, right? A lot of people were that we've worked with that are sick of their marketing company's efforts. We're like, we don't know what our marketing company is doing.
Hmm.
We told them that we wanted to do this. They said that they'd done this, and we haven't heard from them in weeks. And then whenever we ask them what's happening, they say, well, it's running. We're getting impressions. We're getting views. And so that's one thing that we really strive at Recon to not be, right, is we try to have consistent communication with our clients and reporting and really, again, just connect those dots for them because we don't expect our clients to know marketing. It's so funny. How many people do we get coming to us that say, I'm sorry, I don't really know what you call this, or we don't expect them to. That's what they're paying us for, is to know all of those things. And so it is our job to continually come back to them and say, hey, this is what we're doing. And part of that, like you were saying, honest transparency and integrity is saying this isn't working because marketing is constantly changing
It's
and
an
the
art and a
algorithms. Yeah,
science.
for
Yeah.
sure. So, sometimes things don't work and that's okay. And we can be transparent about that and say, you know what, this campaign isn't working for these reasons. We're going to adjust. And that's something that I think a lot of marketing companies are afraid to do
Hmm.
because they think it makes them look bad or weak that, we didn't get it right every single time. But it actually does the opposite because it damages their credibility.
Hmm.
And so that's something that we strive for is that transparency and then also making sure that we communicate that to them consistently. Our goal is that our clients never question what it is that we're doing at that moment in time. And if they ever do, then they can always give us a call. And to your point, I really like that you talked about our relationships within our clients and really getting to know them. We take a lot of time in the first 90 days to really not only get to know the business, but also the people within the business because, the CEO might not understand the everyday workings the way that someone who is in the office every day would. And so we talk to all of those people to make sure that we get it right.
And we also want to make sure that if we need to follow up, like I've worked with a lot of like office managers and asked them, hey, if they're the ones taking the phone calls, how are the phone calls and different things?
Hmm.
Because they will give us the information that we need as far as, well, I got 3 phone calls for, I don't know, for a doctor's office, but we're a dentist's office. Well, obviously something's wrong in the marketing
Right.
or something's listed wrong. And so,
Right.
um, just finding those gaps is a lot easier.
We really are, and the reason why we call it recon is we are the intelligence team that goes ahead. I mean, if you think about a recon team, that's their job, is so they go ahead of the main team to scout the area, to see what the terrain looks like, to see what the dangers are, see what the opportunities are, and really just get to know it inside and out. And that's what our job is here at Recon Marketing, is to know the marketing terrain, to know what the algorithms are, to know what the marketplace is, but also to know our team and to know how they can assess that terrain for that specific client. And so that's kind of where that name came from, is everything that we do has tactical precision in it, but also looks really beautiful. All right, thanks so much for watching today. We really appreciate your time. If you're looking for marketing advice or have questions, please feel free to follow, like, share, and ask us questions. We'd be happy to help you out with that. Big thanks to Anchor Studios for having us here today. It was a great experience, and make sure to follow and like their stuff as well.